We've got to take some of the hatred of each other. You know, they don't like each other. I say that in front of President Zelensky, but I say it in front of President Putin, too. They have tremendous bad blood. It's really is what is holding up, I think, a settlement. I think we're going to get it done.
Well, that was President Trump yesterday with Ukrainian President Zelensky as the war in Ukraine rages on for almost 4 years now. Well, what is it going to take to bring peace to the region and bring Putin to the negotiating table? Joining us to answer that is retired Brigadier General for the U.S. Air Force, General Blaine Holt. There he is, and also former advisor to the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Yuriy. It's really great to have both of you guys. Blaine, you know, President Trump met with Zelensky yesterday. It's the third time this year that Zelensky has visited the White House. Are we any closer to seeing a total ceasefire? What do you think, Blaine?
Well, we're getting closer. The key term there, Rita, is the word ceasefire. So ceasefire implies cessation of combat operations, and then you have a frozen conflict. Where the difference of opinion is on the Russian side, that they want to go to final terms, and right now militarily they have an edge. What we need to see, though, is this path towards more discussions with President Zelensky. You've got the Trump Putin session coming up in Hungary. That's the de-escalatory path to going to what final status should be. Whether there's a ceasefire mixed into that or not, that's the technical issue that has to be done. The escalatory path, in my view, and the president's hearing it on both sides because it's a very strong issue, is what Tomahawk means by introduction to the battle space, and whether or not the Russians are correct in asserting that we would then become a direct party to the conflict, a belligerent in the war.
No, that's a very good point. And Yuriy, I want to ask you, I want to play this clip, actually, if I could. This is President Trump, because, of course, Zelensky was hoping to obtain those Tomahawk missiles that Blaine was just talking about. And this is President Trump's response.
Tomahawks are very dangerous weapons. They're incredible weapons. Tomahawks are a big deal. But one thing I have to say, we want Tomahawks also. We don't want to be giving away things that we need to protect our country.
Yuriy, what's your reaction when you hear that? Because, of course, Ukraine would love those Tomahawk missiles because they can go so far and deep into Russian territory.
Rita, I can tell you that one of the things that Ukrainians want more than Tomahawks is actually peace. So, unfortunately, to achieve peace through force, which is the formula pronounced earlier by Donald Trump. Peace through force means that we need means which will enable us to inflict damage on Russian war machinery, which they use to bomb and destroy Ukraine on a daily basis. Now, I would also like to stress that when Russians are responding to this possibility of providing Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles with some threats. We have been there before. When the US said that they will send us Abrams tanks, which are now already on the front lines, Russians said this will mean that the US is joining the fight and it will escalate. When the US agreed to send to Ukraine F-16s, the same. We heard from the Putin administration that this will mean crossing a red line. We've crossed those lines so many times, but you know what makes us at peace and confident is that Donald Trump by now understands that Russia is a paper tiger, and those threats, they are empty. So let's hope that diplomatic means will work. Let's hope that we will not need the Tomahawk missiles, but we have to understand that, you know, these options must be on the table if we are serious about achieving first ceasefire and then long-lasting peace.
So, Blaine, is it just a lot of bluster to what Yuriy is saying by President Putin? And where do you see this headed? I mean, President Trump, he's solved, 8 conflicts in 9 months. Or 7, actually, right? This would be the 8th. Or this would be the 9th, I think, right? This would be the 9th. I was trying to count.
Right. I think the term here is incrementalism, and this has been the big mistake of the West's support to Ukraine. We wanted to see Ukraine be able to repulse the Russians right away, early on in this conflict, but it starts out with a guy named Boris Johnson who blows up the first peace talks, and we're learning more and more about that every day. But then what the West does, and this is not President Trump's fault, is they revert to a Vietnam-style strategy, if you could call it that, of what McNamara did with incrementalization. Every 6-7 weeks or so, the new wonder weapon is talked about. But I'm a military person. I'm a strategist. Combined arms is how you win a war. Air, land, and sea is how you win a war. And that's not what the West did here. So they did Ukraine a disservice in how the support went. And as the guy who used to run logistics for the European theater for the United States, I can tell you that they messed that whole part of that up. So we've got to get to a diplomatic solution. The Tomahawk is not that answer, in my view.
Wow. Well, we'll see where it heads, you guys. Let's pray that peace is on the very near horizon, and let's pray that this can be happening with the three presidents together, and we see it in the hopefully in the coming weeks, maybe even sooner in Budapest. Both of you, thank you very, very much. Really great to have both of you here. Thank you. And Yuriy, we're praying for you guys in Ukraine. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.